Dan Patrick airing out all of Kathy Engelbert's dirty laundry. Kathy Engelbert was supposed to do his show. Dan Patrick was waiting for over 2 hours. 2 hours later, after waiting and waiting and waiting, Kathy Engelbert lets Dan Patrick know, "Oh, sorry, Dan."
The WNBA tried to capitalize on her popularity and crammed a lot of games in over a short amount of time, playing against the best teams in the WNBA.
Here's a quick cross-country buzz around one name, Caitlin Clark. At just 24, the Indiana Fever's point guard isn't only lighting up the scoreboard. She's also grabbing headlines with her bold words and never-back-down attitude on the court. Before we dive in, if you're enjoying content like this, drop a like and hit subscribe. Crazy fact, over 96% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. It costs nothing, takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps this channel grow. So go ahead, tap that button right now. Awesome, thanks for the support. Let's get into it.
Our entire salary to get those. I'm not kidding.
We'll have someone work on that for sure.
We need people.
Pressure, criticism, injury after injury. That's exactly what Caitlin Clark has been up against lately. When the injury hit, she stepped away, not to hide, but to heal and come back stronger. And here's the thing, a lot of fans feel like the WNBA, and even her own team, didn't have her back the way they should have. Now, that's up for debate. But one thing isn't, Clark never stopped grinding. Through all the noise, she leaned on pure work ethic and raw talent, gearing up for a comeback that could remind everyone exactly why she's one of the best in the game.
Of the WNBA, as she's now going to try to set the all-time record, but 12 games to...
Wednesday, July 8th, Fever versus Sparks. The final score? Sparks took it 106-92. But all eyes were on one thing, Caitlin Clark stepping back onto the court. After missing 2 straight games with a back injury, she made her return, playing just 16 minutes and putting up 9 points. A short outing, sure, but a huge moment nonetheless.
Create Fever advantage. Clark, defended by Hell, lost her footing. Kick out to Boston. 3 doesn't go.
Streaking to the basket, and here's what hustle plays are all about. You got 3 Phoenix players around Caitlin Clark, and
then came the moment everyone's still talking about. Alyssa Thomas made contact with Clark during the game, and the whistle? Silent. No foul call, no reaction from the refs at all. Fans were furious. Social media absolutely exploded with people questioning the officiating, wondering out loud how that play went completely unchecked.
Making really peanuts, Dan. When meanwhile, this is the reason why everybody's tuning into the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, just on her own, making $76,000 a year, which, I mean, she's making tons of other money in endorsements, but when you look at male athletes, something that I think a lot of them tend to make a habit of is they say, okay, I'm going to spend my paycheck or my salary rather, and I'm going to use that to fund my lifestyle, and I'm going to set aside my endorsement money. I'm going to put that in the bank. I'm going to invest that money. But for these WNBA players, if all you're making is $76,000, you've got to dig into those endorsement dollars to fund a lifestyle. And I'm not just talking about a lavish lifestyle. I'm just talking about a normal lifestyle, which costs even more than...
Here's a $6,595 paycheck. Now here's a $400 million empire. Both belong to the exact same woman. And that gap right there is the whole story we're diving into today. Caitlin Clark has never been shy about speaking her mind, on the court or off it. And that fearless attitude is exactly why her rookie deal, just $6,595 for the season, with a 4-year total of $338,500, became such a massive talking point. Here's a woman pulling in millions from brand deals, yet she openly said she needed help just to get her own family season tickets. That one comment, it sent shockwaves through basketball fans everywhere. But dig a little deeper, and you realize this isn't really about Clark struggling for cash. It's about a broken system. The WNBA operates under a salary cap locked in by a collective bargaining agreement signed back in 2020, one that doesn't expire until 2027. Meanwhile, leagues like the NBA and NFL keep raising their salary caps as revenue grows. The WNBA hasn't caught up, even though the money is clearly pouring in. And just look at what Clark alone has done for Indiana's franchise. Jersey sales for the Fever have exploded by over 1,193%. Corporate sponsorships are up 225%. Every single home game is sold out. Even the concession stands are cashing in. Draft beer sales jumped 740%, and hot dog sales climbed 300%. One player, one rookie, and the entire business around her is booming. So no, you won't be seeing a GoFundMe for Caitlin Clark anytime soon. Even if every fan from Indianapolis to Iowa chipped in $1,600 for season tickets, it wouldn't move the needle on her bank account. Before she ever played a single WNBA minute, Clark had already banked an estimated $3 million through name, image, and likeness deals in college. Add in massive contracts with Wilson for her signature basketball, Nike for her own shoe line, plus partnerships with Gatorade, Panini, Xfinity, Gamebridge, and State Farm, and her total career earnings could eventually cross $400 million. Why does she command that kind of money? Because people are actually watching. Her final college game pulled in 24 million viewers, more than 3 times the audience for Serena Williams' farewell match. Over 3 million people tuned in just to watch her get drafted. These aren't small numbers. These are numbers that move networks and advertisers. But here's what makes Clark different. When she criticizes WNBA pay, she's not just talking about herself. She's fighting for teammates like Lexi Hull, who's set to earn just $1. $7 million. No, wait, let's be accurate, a fraction of that. While the entire Fever roster payroll sits around $1. $2 million combined. Let that sink in. That's less than what a single NBA player with just 1 year of experience makes on his own. The women are filling arenas, dominating headlines, driving TV ratings, and still waiting to get paid what they're worth. Most WNBA players don't have access to the kind of endorsement deals Clark has. She'll likely keep setting records and making headlines, but she hasn't forgotten the players standing next to her. In fact, she's been openly supportive of Hull, joking that her own social media might just turn into a fan page for her teammate. Speaking of teammates stepping up, Kelsey Mitchell was an absolute problem in the fourth quarter of a recent game, hitting big shots when it mattered most. Clark didn't hesitate to give her credit, saying Mitchell just shows up big in big moments, and that she's proud of her. That praise matters even more when you consider the debate swirling around the league's Player of the Week award. Some argue Mitchell actually had the stronger case that particular week. But Clark's overall impact, the attendance numbers, the TV ratings, the box office pull, makes it nearly impossible to ignore her. Still, it would have been a great story if Mitchell had gotten the nod, especially since the Fever are the only team this season with multiple Player of the Week winners. That's not luck. That's a team on the rise, powered by more than one star. And through all this noise, there's been no shortage of criticism thrown Clark's way. Fans and even opposing sides have called her weak, said she can't hang physically. But watch the tape. She's not backing down from anyone. She leads the league in scoring. She's carrying record TV numbers, and every time someone tries to knock her down, she just keeps cooking. Now let's talk about the Rookie of the Year conversation, because it's honestly getting a little unfair to Angel Reese. Reese has been putting up phenomenal numbers all season, but comparing her directly to Clark misses the point entirely. Clark isn't just competing with rookies anymore. The real conversation now is where she ranks among the greatest rookie seasons in league history, right alongside legends like Candace Parker, even if she may not quite reach Parker's MVP-level rookie year. It's worth noting Parker's monster rookie season came in a year before Aya Wilson was even part of that conversation, and this year's league MVP race is looking historic in its own right. The bigger debate brewing: Clark versus Maya Moore in the rookie history books. Clark is expected to lead in several key statistical categories, while Moore's legacy is tied to winning championships early in her career. And when it comes to today's best overall players, Aya Wilson and Breanna Stewart are still sitting at the top. But that gap is shrinking faster than people realize. If Stewart wasn't going through a rough patch, this conversation might look completely different. And here's something interesting. Some of Wilson's scoring has come more easily than Stewart's tougher buckets. Early in the season, when Wilson's team was sitting at a modest 6 wins and 6 losses, her scoring numbers didn't always translate into team success. She's still the better player right now, but the more you watch, the less this feels like a simple 2-player race with everyone else fighting for scraps. Now let's get into the moment that had the entire basketball world talking. During a Seattle matchup, Clark was closing in on a historic run, 3 straight games with 20-plus points and double-digit assists. Seattle's coaching staff pulled their starters late, which some argue was designed to stop that record. Then came the physical stuff. A player named Skylar Diggins-Smith bumped into Clark, speeding up contact in a moment that looked anything but accidental. No foul was called. And honestly, if it were Clark's response to give, the message would have been simple: grab your coat and get out of the gym. That kind of moment right at the end of a blowout. In a game Clark's team had clearly already won, just looks bad. Call it petty, call it a lack of class. Either way, it wasn't a good look for Seattle. Some fans online even called it assault, though that might be a stretch. What it really looked like was jealousy and frustration boiling over, players mimicking rough treatment instead of handling a loss with composure. And through it all, Clark refuses to shrink. When opposing teams complain about getting embarrassed on the scoreboard, her response is essentially, grow up. She doesn't back down, she doesn't apologize for winning, and she's made it clear that competitors bringing intensity to the court is fine, but crying about losing afterward isn't. There's also a bigger picture forming here. The league recently signed a massive television deal worth $200 million, with the potential to grow to $260 million annually. That's a direct result of the attention Clark alone has generated. One voice, speaking honestly about something as simple as flying commercial instead of chartered flights, sparked real change. The league didn't move on player travel conditions until after she spoke up publicly about it. She didn't have to say anything. She already had her contract, her endorsements, her bag secured. But she used her platform anyway, before she'd even played a single professional regular season game, to speak up for every woman who came before her and every woman playing alongside her now. And the television numbers back up just how much of a draw she really is. A recent matchup featuring stars like Aya Wilson and Breanna Stewart pulled in just over 500,000 viewers on network TV. Compare that to a Fever game that pulled in over 1.2 million viewers on a major network. Another Fever matchup against Seattle drew 32 million viewers, numbers that dwarf almost every other game happening around the league that same week. The gap isn't small. We're talking hundreds of thousands of viewers difference, game after game. Fans are noticing too. People are driving 7 hours just to watch her play live, describing the atmosphere as electric, like something big is about to happen every single time she steps on the floor. Longtime Iowa fans who followed her since college talk about finally getting to witness in person what they used to only see on a screen. Arenas are selling out. The energy inside these buildings feels different when she's on the court. And that's not opinion. That's showing up in the data every single week. Even outside basketball circles, big names are chiming in. Shannon Sharpe addressed the ridiculous comparisons and backlash Clark's been facing, pointing out that people said the exact same doubtful things about Larry Bird decades ago. Every great player who changes a sport gets doubted first. Sharpe made it clear. Clark has 2 elite skills, scoring and playmaking, and when one isn't working, the other picks up the slack. His advice to critics was simple: stop being catty, let her play. And through all the noise, the criticism, the physical hits, the debates about pay and respect, one moment stood out as pure class. A message sent directly to Clark after she broke a scoring record that had stood since 1998. The message praised not just her shooting, but her court vision and her ability to make every teammate around her better, calling the record safe in her hands and encouraging her to keep elevating the women's game. That's really the story here, isn't it? A 24-year-old walked into a league, broke records that stood before she was even born, forced a billion-dollar TV deal into existence, and still finds time to hype up her teammates instead of chasing the spotlight alone. Love her or doubt her, ignoring her simply isn't an option anymore. So here's the real question. Is Caitlin Clark just having a moment? Or is she completely rewriting what's possible in women's basketball? Drop your take in the comments below, hit that like button if this broke down something you didn't know before, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next in this story. Because trust me, this is only getting started.